Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, May 2nd, 2019. I am Yvette Boynes with the details. Hundreds of workers joined the Congress of Labour yesterday for a march and rally in observance of International Labour Day. The march got started at the Solidarity Inc. car park and culminated at the Arnoldville playing field. Vice President of the National Congress of Labour and General Secretary of the National Workers' Movement, Selma McLean, called on union leaders in SVG to take their roles more seriously and work as one movement.
No spite and ego to divide the movement. One of our weaknesses in mobilization is due in part to poor cohesion between and within the union movement. We are becoming more and more fragmented. I am calling on us to unite and maintain a common front on these important issues. There's reluctance to rally today due to marked political and ideological differences and selfishness. With appropriate and innovative strategies, we can still influence the changes taking place, notably through additional resources, supporting and uniting together.
McLean added that union leaders need to do a better job at mobilizing their members and getting them involved in the labor movement. Another speaker at yesterday's rally was civil society activist Frederick, who reflected on the labor movement in the Caribbean and in SVG. He also made an appeal for union leaders to thrash out their differences and not let politics drive them.
Our space is a fundamental problem. And I want to say today that it is important, and I want to make a special appeal to the trade union leaders. That kind of foolishness in terms of your differences, don't be afraid to sit down with each other. There's a National Labour Congress which is an umbrella for the workers. Sit down there, don't be afraid to discuss your differences. Say, I think you're doing so and so. You know, people who name Ralph Boy and who name NDP this. We don't want part of that in the trade union movement. The trade union movement has too many problems to allow ourselves to be divided like that. This is a time for solidarity. We may differ. We may say that we don't like this government or we think about it. That is our right. Nobody can vex with you for that.
Minister of Labour Sabota Caesar also addressed the gathering and gave his commitment to working along with all unions for the betterment of SVG.
We will continue to work with our unions to support workers throughout the length and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and not forgetting, importantly, Vincentians who are workers abroad, because we have on the farm labor program and different programs in the Caribbean and internationally where persons will go away to work. It is of first importance that we recognize that if we are to build any modern economy, whilst capital is important, whilst it's important to have land, we cannot develop a country without hard and diligent work.
While several unions participated in the Labour Day march and rally spearheaded by the National Labour Congress, the SVG Teachers Union rejected the invitation to attend. President of the SVG-TU, Wendy Bino, told SVG-TV News that a decision was arrived at by members last Friday as they found it disrespectful for the NLC to conveniently invite them to participate.
We sent letters in May of 2016 and September 2018 to the President, and we have been trying to have a meeting to chart the way forward for the National Labour Congress, and we have been met with total silence. The Congress Constitution states that the machinery of the Congress shall consist of one annual delegates conference. This conference has not taken place since 2014, and all efforts that we've made to realize the proper functioning of the National Labour Congress have proved futile. So the SVG-TU is therefore of the opinion that the National Labour Congress is not a legitimate body and it is unconstitutional. We are also of the opinion that it has no authority to organize such an activity, and we decided that we will not give legitimacy to the activity by not taking part.
Bino said the NLC needs to get its act together. However, the SVG-TU is willing to meet and discuss with them a better way forward for workers in SVG.
Pursuant to a decision taken at the 19th Biennial Convention of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union in 2016, we recalled all our delegates to the National Labour Congress. So at present, we do not have any members sitting on the National Labour Congress, which is supposed to consist of trade unions registered in the state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. More focus needs to be placed on workers on the day, and so we hope that by next year the National Labour Congress will have put its house in order and we can get on with the business of its purpose.
Meanwhile, President of the Public Service Union Elroy Boucher said they recognize the importance of Labor Day. However, they also have major issues with the National Labour Congress, similar to that of the SVG-TU.
The Congress for the NLC is long overdue. It has been for the past 2 or so years, and we have been making many calls for the Congress to be held and the election of a new executive. And our calls seem to have fallen on deaf ears. So we have been making that very call. The NLC can do much more if it really abides by its constitution and if a new executive is elected. Whether that new executive includes some of the same persons, that is not the issue, but we just need to have fresh elections because they have not been functioning for a very long time. And we need a functioning NLC. They have a lot of work to really do.
Government is said to be monitoring closely the events unfolding in Venezuela and has expressed concern about the increasingly volatile situation in the South America country. A news release from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs today states the government of SVG condemns all forms of violence and urged all parties to desist from those acts which aim to destabilize the Venezuelan society. The release further states that St. Vincent and the Grenadines maintains its principled stance that dialogue based on mutual respect and adherence to international law is the only path to peace and progress in the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. However difficult that path may be, and calls on all parties to resort to constructive dialogue to resolve the crisis. It says St. Vincent and the Grenadines reaffirms its unwavering commitment to uphold the fundamental principles of respect for sovereignty, the rule of law, non-intervention, non-interference, respect for human rights, and democracy as enshrined in the United Nations Charter. LIAT shareholder governments have agreed in principle to a proposal on how to finance the cash-strapped airline to keep it in the air. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves told the Caribbean Media Corporation on Tuesday evening that one of the major points discussed at a meeting in Antigua was avoiding the sale of 3 of LIAT's planes which has been proposed. PM Gonsalves had previously said that the shareholders Antigua and Barbados, Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines might have had to ask the Caribbean Development Bank that provided the funds to purchase the planes to sell them. That now appears to be off the table, as PM Gonsalves said the proposal will be further discussed later this month when the shareholders meet again.
Submitted a proposal, and that proposal is gathering support by most shareholders, at least thus far, and others would like to see it submitted in writing for full consideration. What it would mean in effect is that these 2 planes will not be sold. there would be additional resources put in without selling these planes.
Ahead of the meeting in Antigua, Prime Minister Gonzalez said LIAT might be forced to close operations after several governments appeared reluctant to provide the necessary injection to keep the airline flying. On the heels of that warning, St. Lucia Prime Minister Alan Chastanet reiterated that his government will not be putting any money into the airline unless there were fundamental changes to how it is governed. He even went as far as suggesting that LIAT could easily be replaced if it folded. The St. Lucian leader has come in for some criticism from PM Gonzalez.
Only one Prime Minister in the OECS who is not putting any money is Prime Minister Chastanet of St. Lucia. Keith Mitchell has put from Grenada $1 million. Now St. Kitts and Nevis has indicated that they put in their cabinet has taken a decision. And the other three shareholders in the OECS, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines have put money. So it's only the odd man out in the OECS is Prime Minister Chastanet of St. Lucia in regards to LIAT.
The official funeral of the late John Horn, former Member of Parliament and representative for West Kingstown under the New Democratic Party administration from 1984 to 2001, will be held tomorrow, 3rd May 2019, at the St. George's Cathedral, Kingstown, commencing at 1:30 p.m. The body of Horn will lie at the House of Assembly Chamber Courthouse tomorrow. Officials will view the body between 10 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. and members of the public between 10:30 a.m. and 12:45 p.m. Prior to arrival at the House of Assembly, the body of Horn will lie at Democrat House, NDP headquarters, Kingstown from 9 a.m. to 9:17 a.m. The NDP said while the casket will not be open for viewing of the body at this point, friends and supporters and members of the public are invited to Democrat House to bid farewell to Horn, who passed away on Easter Monday, April 22nd. Capacity building allows persons and organizations to understand what obstacles prevent them from achieving their developmental goals, as well as to enhance their abilities to achieve measurable results. With this in mind, the Ministry of National Mobilization today began a 2-day workshop to help achieve these objectives. The Youth Development Capacity Building and Institutional Strengthening Workshop is designed to support the professionalization of youth development, to contribute to the enabling environment for development, to create a framework and operational strategy for the development of a national youth policy. Speaking at the workshop's opening ceremony today was Officer in Administration Control in the Ministry of Mobilization, Ina Walters, who said the Youth Affairs Division was set up in the 1980s to involve the youth in planning and continuation of programs aimed at their own development, to identify and develop opportunities such as youth employment, as well as to instill a sense of patriotism. She said the capacity building workshop allows the Youth Affairs Division to remain current in order to execute its mandate.
While circumstances and situations around us change, we are to remain current and relevant in addressing them. Youth today are more enlightened and knowledgeable. What they need is to be exposed and afforded the opportunity to thrive. Today, we are here to forge the path for youth. The first step is to enhance our capacities, diverse a strategy or a plan that would guide our work, as well as enhance our collective efforts by providing a holistic approach to youth development. As we move ahead, I implore all to come on board. In the near future, we will be soliciting your input in the formulation of our national youth policy. As we come to the various communities, we encourage you to get involved. Your opinion matters. Again, I welcome you to 2 days of intensive, exciting work, bearing in mind that the work we put in today will be realized in the future.
Youth Representative Philon Andrews said a youth policy will provide positive benefits to young people. He said it is important for the youth to have an input on policies which will affect them and believes capacity building workshops are crucial to this endeavor.
We as youth must be able to have a say in what is important to us and make decisions about our lives, with positive guidance. How, you might ask? By letting us own our decisions. This will help us increase self-confidence, skills, responsibilities, and overall growth. However, to do this, we need encouragement and support from other youths to participate in decision-making, development of policies, and programs which can affect us. How? Through that adaptation or implementation of capacity building workshops. These will enable us to improve and retain the skills, knowledge, tools, equipment, and other resources needed to do our jobs competently, whilst promoting positive feedback towards leadership and livelihood skills among youths, which create better group experiences for us within our communities, school, work environment, nation, and individuals overall.
Meanwhile, Minister of Youth Frederick Stephenson said he believes the workshop is a concrete step towards creating a national youth policy which will help to transform the lives of youth here in SVG.
Enhancing what we do, as I said before, is vitally important. I know that the time spent here over the next 2 days would be intense, informative, and interactive. But I want to say to all of you, the participants, stick with it. At the end, we will be better equipped and our way in developing a comprehensive youth strategy and national youth policy that will assist in transforming youth development work here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I want to take this opportunity once again to thank all of you for being here today at this very important workshop as we seek to further develop and advance the work of youth development in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
UNICEF representative Dr. Elroy is calling for a monitor and evaluation system to be put in place to properly track the progress made under the Caribbean Safe School program. Dr. Kamuragi made this suggestion as he spoke at the opening of the 2nd Annual Caribbean Safe School Ministerial Forum held at the NIS Conference Room on Monday. The 2-day forum brought together education ministers and representatives from various disaster management agencies from across the region. The UNICEF representative said each territory has its own national standards and regulations relating to the construction of safe schools, and that a monitoring system in each territory where the program is being undertaken will help to ensure proper standards are in place.
What does it take to fill the gaps? The United Nations system takes this opportunity to advocate for an annual monitoring and evaluation of the Caribbean Safe School program implementation in all countries and territories to judge over time and on a regular basis their performance against the standards. Their standards. CDEMA has set standards. OECS has set standards with regard to the design of resilient schools. I know that Dominica, the Commonwealth of Dominica, has national standards with regard to the design of resilient schools. So what do we do with these standards? We have to measure. We have the metrics. We have to measure our performance for the Safe School program against those standards.
Dr. Kamaguragi said climate change continues to move at a rapid pace and believes the monitoring system will help the region to keep up with these changes.
Accountability, ladies and gentlemen. and this would facilitate acceleration of safe school program implementation, building on findings supported by evidence. As the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said while addressing the General Assembly last September, climate change, I quote, "Climate change is moving faster than we are, and its speed has provoked a sonic boom, SOS, across our world." I chose to make this quote to draw the attention of all of us that there is no room for business as usual.
The Ministry of Education is collaborating with the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force and other agencies to undertake a number of activities in observance of May as Child Month. Tomorrow, Friday, May 3rd, the month will be officially launched with a prayer breakfast at the French's House beginning at 9 in the morning. As part of the Child Month campaign, several activities will take place, including a march and rally through the streets of Kingston and the book parade in which children would enact some of their favorite stories at the Annesville Sporting Complex. A release from the Education Media Unit of the Ministry of Education said Child Month is an opportunity for Vincentians to reflect on and renew their commitment to the nation's children. The ministry said this year's slogan, "Early Literacy, Model It for Me," serves as an urgent reminder that all of us as individuals and as a society can do more to improve the quality of education through early literacy. 7 laptops and 1 HP LaserJet printer were donated to the Fancy Government School. The donation was made by Brannon Sardine and Walcott Hillocks living in the diaspora. The handing over took place at the Fancy Government School by Siobhan Lewis John, representing the donors. Lewis John stated that she hopes the computers will add to the holistic development of students in the school and to a wider extent the teaching staff. A total of 20 desktop computers with monitors and a laser printer were also donated to the Sandy Bay Secondary School. Lewis John, a teacher at the Sandy Bay Secondary School who was instrumental in sourcing these computers, thanked the donors for the items, which she said is timely. She stated that they will assist the staff and students to improve their productivity in the classroom.